Miss Roth's class. So a little birdie told me that you guys really want to see Wesley walk. So here he is walking. If you notice that he walks up on his right toes, and the reason for that is when he was born and he was super little, he got what is called a brain bleed, and that is where because his head was so little and so fragile that even a tiny little bump caused blood to go into his little brain. So on the bottom left side of his head, which controls your motor skills, he had the biggest bleed. It's a grade 4, which is the worst you can have. And where there's supposed to be brain, he actually just had blood. The blood is gone now, and now it's just fluid. So kind of right here, he just has fluid. What that means is, if you already know, probably some of you already know, that the left side of your head controls the right side of your body, and the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. So because he had all the blood on the left side of his head and his little brain parts didn't grow there, it caused delays on the right side of his body. So he's left-handed because that side isn't affected as much, and he has a lot of delays on his right arm and hand and on his right leg. So that means what he really has is called cerebral palsy, which is CP, and that's just a condition that talks about how your muscles are affected. So for Wes, it means that his calf muscle on the right side of his body, on his right leg, is super tight. CP can be all kinds of things. It could be really weak muscles or it can be really tight muscles. And we're really lucky because the only muscle that's really majorly affected from the CP that he has is his right calf muscle. So it's kind of like if you run or you stretch your calf or your leg too hard, it feels kind of tight and it hurts a little bit. Well, that's kind of how it is for Wes. So we have to do stretches every day to try and help him flatten his foot and stretch his calf, which I will show you guys in another video. So Wes walks on his toes on the right side. He's pretty flat on the left side, and we have orthotics that he has to wear to try and also help him walk flat, just because if you walk on your toes, if you've ever tried it, and especially if you only walk on one side with your toes, it makes balance and stability really hard. So Wes didn't learn how to walk until he was almost 3 years old, because he had a really hard time balancing and standing because he's always up on his toes. So we have to work with him on a lot of stuff. He's just watching his show. We have to work and practice a lot of stuff like balancing and walking. He can't run. I think somebody asked if he knows how to run. He can't run yet, just because his balance isn't very good, and he's just starting to get pretty good at walking. And he doesn't really know how to step over things very well, or step up on stairs or going downstairs, again, because his balance is pretty off. And also because on that right side, because he doesn't have very good control of the right side of his body, because there's no brain part there, it's really weak. He doesn't really know how strong it is or how to control it. So when he goes to step up on stairs, for example, with his right leg, it's really hard for him because that side of his body isn't very strong. So we have to do lots of exercises to help him make that side of his body stronger, and just practice and get him used to using both sides of his body. Wes, say hi. So we'll talk more about how his brain bleed affects his muscles and his coordination and some other stuff in another video, but here's a video of him walking.